Today's episode of The Breaker Brief discusses injury. And while it should go without saying, this podcast should not be taken as a source of medical advice. If you have an injury or chronic pain, please seek the assistance of a certified medical professional. Enjoy the episode and thank you for listening.
Awesome. Okay, so we're in episode, 4? Mallory, Kansas, Brandon, Megan. Yeah, 4th episode. We're almost to that 6th episode mark. I actually was speaking with a friend on the weekend. He said he started the podcast a long time ago and it actually made 6 episodes and then he stopped doing it, which really supports Mallory's hypothesis that all podcasts fizzle out at the 6th episode. So we're almost there to the part where we'll either keep going or quit. So I'm excited about that. So we got Megan today. She coaches here. She's our newest coach, so that's exciting. But she's not new to the world of strength and conditioning. I believe she has a degree in kinesiology from the University of Waterloo. Is that correct?
Yep, that's
Nailed
correct.
it. She also is finishing up at the Canadian? I can't remember. It's a
CMCC. Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College.
She's finishing up the Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College. She started her internship here essentially during the pandemic, which has made it kind of interesting and slowish. I'm also not super evaluating you on your Zoom coaching because I assume in a year from now that's something you'll never do again.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. Knock on wood that some sort of a weird Ebola virus could come next. Who knows? Okay, awesome. So I think today's gonna be a good conversation. We're gonna talk about injury prevention, because that's kind of Megan's forte. We'll also probably talk about what Megan's athletic background and her journey through CrossFit, because she has a pretty impressive trajectory. Hopefully you guys picked that up on the camera, not trajectory. Okay, so Megan, let's start with an easy question. When did you start CrossFit? That's an easy question.
So after I finished undergrad, that first summer after I graduated in Waterloo, I decided to try it out for just like a month, and that was right before moving to Toronto. So I tried it out for a month and loved it, but then moved to Toronto to start school here and kind of just went back to just going to the gym, got tired of that pretty quick, and then I ended up joining here again that summer after. So I've been doing it for 2 years plus that 1 month.
2 years plus that 1 month. So you 1 month not here and then two years here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. And so before CrossFit, because obviously if you start with a degree in kinesiology, you probably have an athletic background. I don't know anyone who's like, I'm going to get a kinesiology degree and I've never done any physical activity in my life.
Yeah.
So what kind of things did you do growing up for sports?
So my 2 big sports were running and basketball.
What type of running?
So I did cross country and track.
Oh, both.
I like the long distance though. So really like cross country, and then for track I stuck with the longer ones. So 3,000 and 1,500 meter were my 2.
Awesome.
And then basketball too. I played like club in Lindsay, and played all through high school too. So those were my 2 big sports.
Which did you prefer, basketball or running?
I think basketball. I like the team aspect of it, and just the variety of skills that you need for it, versus running can get old sometimes, but I did also enjoy that.
I assume the running is an assumption. I assume the running kind of helps more for basketball, but I don't think the basketball would really help so much for running.
Yeah, it would definitely go more one way. I definitely had more stamina on the court, being a runner at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Awesome. And do you still play like basketball pickup? No, I guess not right now, but.
Not right now, but yeah, I played like at our college, we had intramurals, so I'd play with that. But yeah, just for fun now.
You don't just go to the YMCA and start like dunking on kids?
No.
That's fair. Awesome. Okay, so, and then you started a kinesiology degree at University of Waterloo. You're actually the second coach I've had who's done a kinesiology degree at the University of Waterloo. Phil did it. Coach Phil, who's no longer a coach, but I guess Officer Phil has a kinesiology degree at the University of Waterloo. Coach Darcy, who's also a police officer, has a kinesiology degree, but not from the University of Waterloo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Interesting, yeah. So what did you, I guess there's lots we can talk about, so I'm trying to like pace myself a little bit. What made you decide to go into the chiropractic route?
Yeah, so at Waterloo, I did kind of like an internship and was placed with the baseball team. So I was kind of a student athletic trainer for the baseball team. And they had a lot of like shoulder, elbow injuries, as baseball players do. And so that team is kind of connected with a chiropractor in the area, and that chiro asked me to come in to learn some of the things I could work with them with, like before games and stuff, just to get them ready. And so then, I met this chiro and then started shadowing him kind of more regularly, and really liked what I saw, what he did. He was very like athletic and movement based versus some chiros that I had seen in the past. And I just really liked what he was doing. And
awesome.
Yeah.
And so then you went to chiropractic college.
Yep.
And now you're doing an internship. Is that it's called an internship?
Yeah.
So now you're doing an internship. So you're doing 2 internships. One with chiropractic and one with me. I'm assuming the chiropractic one is a lot more official.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I see how it is. And today's your first day your first day treating.
Yeah, so I did 2 weeks of orientation, went into the clinic, and we're figuring stuff out. But yeah, today's my first day actually treating.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
A little bit, but more so excited just to get into it. A lot of communication and like not using like scientific terms, and just making sure I'm communicating properly with the patient, I think.
That's fair. I guess that kind of is like speaks to coaching, where you have to communicate to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you like, not so much here, but when you start your CrossFit level 1, you coach, like when you're first exposed to coaching for the traditional route, you're coaching people who know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then here, if we were under normal circumstances, you'd probably end up doing the same thing, have you coach other coaches for a little bit in staff meetings, but that's not something we can do right now. Awesome. Okay. Did you do anything specific to prepare for that today?
For today, yeah. So the past couple of weeks, the old interns were still there, so it was a lot of conversations with them, just getting a better idea of who the patients are that I'm taking over with. So that was really helpful. And then just reviewing like the case files that we had on file, so I had a better idea of who I was going in to treat.
Awesome. So I guess we'll switch gears because everyone's excited about your first day. I'm excited. I think what I want to talk about is kind of that duality of the chiropractic and the coaching, because I think there's a lot to unpack there. So we'll get into that. We'll use that. Like, because I know Pat Vellner, who's a competitive CrossFitter, has talked about how like there's some things that he does, like he works out when he's hurt, when he knows he shouldn't. Like he's like, oh, I shouldn't do this, and he's constantly balancing what he knows is good and what he has to do to compete. Have you found you're not as competitive as Patrick Vellner, but have you found that's an issue at all or anything like that?
Yeah, I've definitely had some of my ideas challenged, but so like in undergrad, I took some low back disorder courses with Stu McGill, and I was, I think, a bit afraid and nervous to even do sit-ups and stuff, which are a very common movement. And I think I've just come to learn that like our spines are so resilient, and so if we're doing movements properly and are confident in that and just ease into it, then doing something like sit-ups is completely safe.
I think we'll talk about that. I think I kind of wanted to goaded you into that. I think when I have Phil on the podcast, because Phil and I have had a lot of discussions about this, we'll talk more about that. I did half a PhD at the University of Waterloo, but it was in history. Okay. But I was exposed to the ideas of Stu McGill in the spine. And there's obviously a lot of positive there, but and for the longest time, because I was there when I started coaching CrossFit, I was there, and it kind of related. I was very opposed to a lot of the flexion extension movements in CrossFit. Then I realized that a lot of people who were really good at CrossFit did flexion extension movements and didn't have back pain, and I had back pain. So I realized that what you're saying, the resiliency is there, and I wasn't training it at all. Yeah. And then the other thing I noticed, when you move, like even how I'm sitting right now, I'm not sitting with my abs on and primed. I'm sitting like in a position that I should probably get strong in sometimes. So that's interesting as well. But you haven't had any issues doing sit-ups? No. I did have a back injury in undergrad, and so I think I was a bit hesitant, yeah. And how's that? Has it flared up at all doing CrossFit? No. Great. Yeah. CrossFit's safe for your back, guys. You had it there. 2 people, anecdotally, we're good. I had a back injury, and then I did CrossFit better. I got my back injury from doing CrossFit wrong. And then I fixed it doing CrossFit right, which is important.
There you go. That's some good evidence.
Awesome. Anything else? Like, cause when you were at the University of Waterloo with your internship, did you, like, you worked out before you went to, I'm assuming you went to Division, right?
Yeah.
Did you work out before then?
Yeah, so I started lifting in undergrad, kind of just doing it with friends, and then I became a personal trainer. So I worked at the gym at Waterloo for a couple of years, and then so I had all the basics of movement.
What kind of things? What changed from what you were doing before CrossFit to CrossFit? Like, what kind of workouts did you do beforehand?
It was more, I'd say, like bodybuilding based. Like, I think I never pushed myself super hard with strength because I was still
learning,
figuring things out. So it was more like I would do a major movement like squat or deadlift or bench or whatever, and then add in accessory work with that after. So a lot less cardio, I'd say.
Less cardio. But your cardio, you came to this gym with really good cardio, I guess, from the long distance.
Yeah,
running.
And I played pickup basketball quite a bit, so I think that kind of kept up.
And obviously you enjoy the CrossFit more?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're still doing
I
it.
like the variety.
You like the variety?
Yeah.
Great, and so you've done 2 opens, right?
Yeah.
2 opens fully, and you improved a lot. I don't remember how much you improved, but
yeah.
I know that for you went from open 20, I guess it would be the 2020 open? No. Yeah, 2020 open.
Yeah.
So confusing with how they changed the dates.
Confusing.
The 2020 open, you did not have toes to bar, if I recall?
I think I did, but it was like probably my very first time doing it in a workout.
Awesome.
And so it took me quite a bit.
The 2021 Open, you crushed toes to bar. So over the course of the year, what kind of things did you do to go from not crushing toes to bar to crushing toes to bar? Because I think that's something people are like struggle with or anything. What kind of things did you do?
Yeah. I'd say a lot of it was just slowing down and like learning the movement and spending time on that. So using a lot of the scaling options and focusing on those, really focusing on gauging my lats and all the little pieces you need to actually get toes to bar, and then bringing those together to actually be doing the movement.
So like doing it appropriately. Awesome.
Yeah.
But it's really neat to see that, because like we've had some people on the podcast and everyone, Brian and I's episode, I don't think either of us improved, but we've been doing CrossFit way longer and we're also older. We're like, we both had points where we were doing a lot more CrossFit, but everyone else we've had on is like improving, and it's really neat to see because the story is kind of the same, where it's just doing things slow, being patient.
Yeah.
I think if anyone's still listening, to repeat that, be patient. Right? That's a really important thing to take away from that when it comes to trying to improve. The people who improve quickly are the most patient. And it seems kind of counterintuitive, right? You're like, I want to get better now, but then you do too much, you get hurt, and all of that. Awesome. So I guess we'll just I want to keep talking about CrossFit for a minute. What's your like favorite movement and least favorite movement? I think I know what your least favorite movement is. Megan and I just worked out. I think I know what Megan's least favorite
Echo
movement
bike?
Yeah, Megan's least favorite movement might be the Echo bike. And if you've worked out with Megan, you know that she's a very strong runner. If you're ever working out with Megan and you need to like even the playing field, just put her on the Echo bike.
Okay, today's Echo bike, I don't think I've done that many calories in a row before.
That's fair.
So the sprint Echo bike versus the long
is fine.
It's different.
And so we'll say is that your least favorite movement, is the Echo bike?
Yeah, probably. I definitely like dread it every time I see it.
And what's your most favorite movement?
I really like squatting. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of improvement lately with my squat, so that's been cool. But I just love it. It's just such a foundational movement.
The squat?
So, yeah. But I also love Olympic lifting too, because that's newer to me.
Newer to you? Yeah, you picked up pretty quick. Awesome. Okay. So we have CrossFit, improvement, background. Now we can delve into kind of your chiropractic / kinesiology / coaching background. Actually, no, first we're going to talk about coaching, because you're new to coaching. Everyone else who Mallard hasn't coached, first guest. I don't think she ever would. But everyone else has coached a long time. You're the first kind of newer coach on here. And you did coach some outdoor classes, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have some experience. So we can talk about that a little bit because I think it's neat to talk about coaching. So first off, what kind of like brought you into coaching? What made you? I guess I forced you to do it. That was pretty...
You offered it up.
I offered it up, but whenever there's someone who's younger, kinesiology degree, who's a good member of the community, I kind of want to get them in the... Anytime I think someone would be good for the community coaching, I kind of push that a little bit. I'm a coaching pusher.
Yeah, I think I really enjoy CrossFit, and so I feel like I'm gonna stick with it for like a while.
Yeah.
So, and then plus my chiropractic career, I think that it's an awesome like pair to have together, and I've learned a lot, even just communicating with people and coaching, that is going to be so applicable for my chiropractic career. So I think they go hand in hand really well.
Awesome. We asked Brandon what his like pet peeve with coaching was, because that was a question. I'm gonna ask you. That's gonna become a new question I ask everyone.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna talk about mine again because I already talked about it. If you guys want to know what my pet peeve with coaching is, go back and listen to episode 3 with Brandon. So what's your biggest pet? Do you have one yet? Like coaching with Zoom, it's like hard to have a pet. Because you can just like kind of like if someone's doing something that you just ignore them. And you're such a kind person that I don't know if you even would have a pet peeve. Brandon's kind. I was surprised he had pet peeves, and we didn't go into all of them. So, but she's more jaded.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard. Yeah, over Zoom because it's just hard to see what's happening, and I can just look at someone else if I don't like what's going on. So,
but did you have any? Do you have any? That's what apparently that's what people want to know. They want to know. That's like a thing. People are like, "Well, I wonder what all Brandon's pet peeves are." It's like, I don't know if they want to do it to like keep doing them, or if they want to do it to like, I don't know why. But so do you not have any?
I don't think I have any.
Guys, so next time you're on Zoom with Megan, see if you can figure it out. Or better yet, in a few weeks when we're outside and she's coaching, see if you can try and figure out what her pet peeve is.
Just gonna have the worst classes.
Yeah, you're gonna have the worst classes as people try and figure out how to tick you off. Awesome. Okay. So, what was the hardest thing about starting to coach?
Besides Zoom.
Besides Zoom. Yeah, assume that Zoom isn't here. We're like I say, we always like pretend that there's going to be 500 episodes of this podcast, and on the 500th episode, someone's going to find it, and they're going to go back and start listening to the older episodes, and they're going to forget that the pandemic was a thing. So we try not to like dwell on it too much.
Yeah, I think one of the things is like when I'm explaining a movement, there's so many like cues that are flying through my head, and so it's just like filtering them out before saying them, because if I start saying all those cues, it's going to be overwhelming. So just kind of picking through and maybe focusing on one or two at a time. And yeah, just really filtering that out for people.
I mean, that's probably good for the chiropractic thing too, because I know that if I go to a healthcare practitioner and they tell me like to do 12 things, I'm not going to do any of those things. Yeah. And I'm attuned to that sort of stuff. But if I'm given one or two things to work on, I'll be more likely to do them. Yeah,
it's more tangible. It's a easy, achievable goal to just focus on a couple,
Awesome. Okay, so I guess now we can shift towards the chiropractic a little bit, the coaching to chiropractic. So what's one thing you see people doing that you're like, oh, that's going to result in an injury, and I'll see you in a couple. What's a big thing people do that you think is like, hey, you need to relax, or I'm going to see you on my table in a couple months?
I think just when someone's ego gets to them and they just start adding more weight when
you kind of like have a party, you just see the dollar signs. It's future, you just sees the dollar signs rolling up. I'll have to make sure when Megan's coaching, she's not just secretly adding weight to people's bars so she gets clients.
No, never. So I guess, just adding weight before they fully like have a handle on the movement, and when they can spend more time just like improving it at a certain weight before adding more.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So be patient. Again, back to patience. Maybe that's the name of the episode. I don't know yet. Awesome. So guys, just be chill with weight. That said, and I know that I have to push Megan sometimes, there is a time to add more weight, as I have to. Usually when I work out with Megan, I put more weight on her bar.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little overcautious.
Yeah,
sometimes.
you can be overcautious. It's just kind of like one of those things where if you think you need to add more weight all the time, you probably don't. If you never add more weight, you probably need to add more weight. Okay, so being patient. I'd also add to that, just as an aside, with gymnastics movements, just be chill with them. Kipping, be chill with kipping. I guess, how do you feel about kipping because some people in it's not so much now, I'm old. I'm so old with this stuff. Like in 2012, 2013, every single healthcare practitioner was like super opposed to it. And it was like a big thing. And now there's like people coming up who did CrossFit like you, who, I don't know your views on it yet, who are fine with it. So how do you feel about kipping and all that?
Yeah, definitely would be a touchy subject in in my career. But yeah, I think similar to the sit-ups, like if you like ease into it and work your way up, then I really do believe that the spine is resilient and you can train it in so many different ways. Like you don't have to keep the neutral spine all the time, and
unless you're loading it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even still, like with Jefferson curls and stuff, you can load it, but like reduce weight, obviously. Yeah. And it can be then trained in those positions to withstand the weight that you're doing. So I think similarly with kipping, you're loading it, but you're working your way up because you can't just right off the bat do 30 kipping in a row.
Yeah,
so like, I think you can ease into it and train your spine to actually withstand that.
And your shoulders.
And your shoulders, yeah.
By, strict first. And I think because you have like some strict pulls, but you still don't not necessarily struggle with kipping, but like for you, the coordination is like something to work on, which is neat. So like I think I've always said the benefit of kipping pull-ups is that once you have the strength is the coordination. So like we have some members now who are really strong, who can do like strict everything, but they struggle with the kip. Mm-hmm. And that's when you should learn it. And it goes over the muscle up. Like you should be strong enough to almost muscle your way through a muscle up before trying to like, you shouldn't be practicing a kipping muscle up every day, hoping you somehow cheat to get it, because you're gonna hurt yourself potentially. But you should be like trying to like muscle through it. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So, but like, do you tell people you do CrossFit? Like when you're like, like in your internship today, like does the person overseeing you know you do CrossFit?
Yeah.
And are they cool with it?
I mean, we haven't had a conversation about it, but I think she would be cool with it.
I mean, so all the healthcare practitioners I see Kansas, who you guys, their second episode of the Breaker Brief, and then my physiotherapist also does CrossFit. Maybe I'll have her on, I'll get a guest. My physiotherapist also does CrossFit, and I've been very like, I will travel to see people who do not know about CrossFit, but do CrossFit before they treat me. So that's interesting. Okay, so I guess you haven't seen a ton of people yet, but what do you expect to see, or what are kind of the common like injuries that people go to healthcare practitioners and chiropractors for?
Are we talking about CrossFitters or just general?
We'll go in general and then we'll dial into CrossFitters. We'll start with in general. What are like the general things people?
The like few main things that people see chiros for is low back pain, neck pain, and headaches. So those are kind of like the big three.
And then awesome. And then what do you think is the kind of the root cause of those?
Oh, that's a complex question.
Now all the questions are going to be hard. It's like a lightning round.
It's like, it's always like pain is very complex.
Pain is complex.
It's very multifactorial. So there's like, how you're loading yourself. That's just like one component of it. So like how you sleep or how you worked out one day. But then there's the whole like psychological aspect, like stress and how much sleep you're getting and all these other factors that can play into that. So it really is like a complex thing.
It's complex.
And it's going to depend on the person.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit. So let's talk first about sleep. How should someone sleep? I know there's like different beliefs on that, but I've been like talking to you guys about sleep by email. So how should someone sleep? Is there like an ideal sleeping position? Yeah.
I think right now people are saying that like sleeping on your back with a small-ish pillow is kind of like the ideal. I'd say like if you wake up feeling refreshed and you aren't having pain from it, like sleep however you sleep, because it's really hard to like force yourself to sleep a certain way. But if you are having issues or waking up with pain every morning, then like those are the times that maybe you should revisit that. And
so sleeping on your stomach, because that's something I used to do, and I was told I had to break my habit.
Yeah, I would say that's the one position I probably wouldn't recommend.
I had to like have a shirt with a tennis ball on it.
Oh, really?
So when I rolled onto my stomach, the tennis ball would wake me up.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, and I put a pillow between my legs. So I had a pillow between my legs and a tennis ball on my shirt, and then it stopped me. But I had really bad back pain, and apparently that was
Yeah, because that can put your neck in a weird position. Your back is extended. Your arm might be up too. So
awesome. Okay, so sleep, and then the psychological aspect, the stress. So like almost like if you're worried about being in pain, you'll be in pain. Is that what you're saying?
It can be. Or if you just have like a big life events going on too, like maybe a pandemic or like something with work, you're just like, if you're on high alert, then your body is like more in a like tense position. So like that can actually have an effect on your pain as well.
So like if you think the echo bike is going to be miserable, it's going to end up being miserable. Is that kind of the same thing?
Essentially.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to double check. And then, so, but are there certain things people should avoid? Like maybe like you have low back pain. Is there anything you should avoid doing in general? Like maybe if I'm slouching like this, is that positive? How important, because I guess I'm asking now, I've like been told all this time that posture is really important. How important is something like, because now I guess there was that big standing movement and then there was like an anti-standing movement where people are like, you can't stand all the time either. And I'm just personally confused by all that. So I'm looking for your take on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think people get caught up in like having the perfect posture, but I really like the saying like the best posture is the next posture. So like be constantly moving. Like if you do have a job where you're like sitting at a desk all the time, then just constantly be changing how you're sitting, like cross one leg, cross the other, sit up tall, slouch for a bit. Like if you're constantly moving, then you're not having that static load in the same position for a long amount of time. But yeah, if you're constantly in that neutral position, you're gonna get fatigued that way as well. So just
your posture, you got so much color into that.
Moving.
I was intimidated. Like you were like a mongoose and I was a snake and you were about to kill me. Awesome. Okay, so consistently move. So like maybe if you're sitting for like an hour, get up every little bit and move around.
Yeah, you could set an alarm, or every like 10 minutes you could just change how you're sitting even, and then get up, walk around a bit too.
So specifically now, I guess you haven't probably seen a ton of CrossFitters, but specifically with CrossFit, what injuries have you seen, or do you, what's kind of a common theme with that? Yeah,
I still think low back pain would be a big one that would come up every once in a while. But I think shoulders are a big one too.
I have a tear in my shoulder apparently.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt anymore. So shoulders. So what can people do to kind of prevent those things? Is it going back to patience? Is that the answer?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's
so guys,
really
if you're patient, you will be. Yeah. Is there like, do you prescribe like specific exercises, or are there any exercises you like, or do you not know enough? Like, have you not had the experience yet to?
Yeah, I'd definitely say, I want more experience before really committing to one. But I'd say taking your time in the warm-up is a big thing, because like all the exercises you give in the warm-up are there for a reason. So if you are really like dialed into each one and focusing on how this is going to affect your workout, then that will be like get your shoulders in a healthy
position
state before doing the workout. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll come back to the exercise thing. I think what I'll say on that is if someone gives you an exercise, actually do it. And then maybe just pick one or two exercises, right?
Yeah.
Don't pick three. And my advice to you, I guess, on going out to your first day I have no business giving you advice. I have no experience. But it would be like, if you do prescribe exercise, prescribe like 1 exercise, maybe 2 exercises. Don't prescribe like 5 sets of 5-round couplet of things that need to be done twice a day and just overwhelm the person.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah, that'd be my only advice. They'll give you on the podcast. And also just relax. Okay, so say someone does get injured, something happened, maybe they got hurt here, maybe they got hurt like just, I know the majority of injuries pre-pandemic came from people playing sports or just generally playing with their kids. So as soon as you get injured, what's the first thing you should do? You're hurt. You fell down the stairs, and you twisted your knee.
Well, it depends how bad the injury is.
Yeah, that's fair. I said, okay. Let's rephrase that, because like you fell down the stairs, you twisted your knee, maybe you need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Let's rephrase that. Let's say like you worked out, the next day your low back is like a little sore.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like this question better.
That's a better question. Yeah, that's more logical. Like, so I worked out yesterday. Yesterday we did that running burpee carbon classic workout. And my calf was real sore when I finished, my calf was real sore. But it was real sore when I when I woke up today. What should I do?
Okay. First thing is just recognizing that, I'm in pain. Okay. But then at the same time, you don't want to then just baby that all day and like rest for like 3 days till it goes away. Like, it's actually quite beneficial to move. So still do your workout, but scale it back and don't push yourself to do the same weight or the same pace that maybe you normally would. But so long as you're still moving and performing some type of exercise, it can actually help you get over that pain.
Awesome. So if you wake up and you're in pain, don't just go back to bed.
Correct. No bed rest.
No bed rest. Unless it's really bad, like if you had an ACL reconstruction or something. Yeah. Okay. So, and then what should they do if the pain persists? Like when should someone like see you?
I was gonna say, come see me.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so, but like, should it be right away? Like, if my back hurts, should I go right away, or should I? What kind is your suggestion?
Yeah. None of this is medical advice, by the way. But
nothing we do on maybe I'll put a disclaimer. Nothing on this podcast is medical advice.
Yeah, if you truly think it's from a workout, then I'd give it a couple days. But at the same point, like if you're in a lot of pain, then go see someone. Like they can help you, and if you're at all worried about it, like it's not a big deal to go see someone. So I'd say.
I think I'll reiterate that, guys. If you like feel really sore or you feel really like in pain and it's not like crippling, you should try and move around. We can always modify the workout via Zoom right now or in person. We can give you a completely different workout if need be, but move around. Like I feel fine now. Megan watched me limp into the gym today and then I did the workout. I probably should have warmed up a bit more, but I was late. My alarm didn't go off and it was fine. I feel great now. I might not feel so good in a couple hours, but I'll move around again, get on the bike.
Keep moving.
What's one, maybe like, is there like an exercise or a stretch someone should be doing that maybe they're not? Or is it just generally like warm up well?
Yeah. Generally warm up well, yeah.
Well, I guess let's talk about stretching. Because this is something that like, because again, I've been in this space for a long time now, decade. Stretching is like one of the most hotly debated topics, and I know I've read scientific articles about like how static stretching can decrease performance, and I've read scientific articles about how static stretching can increase performance. Yeah. So how do you feel about static stretching?
Yeah, I think I like more mobility type exercises where you're like not necessarily just holding the same stretch for 30 seconds, but you're kind of moving around. Like, for example, the, what's it called? The Ido squat routine.
Ido Portal squat routine?
Yes, that. I like that because you're constantly moving, but you're still you're improving your mobility. Static stretching is a debated topic.
I would say
I would do that after a workout.
Yeah.
Do mobility before and then just do static stuff after if you want.
We stopped doing it before workouts. The reason we stopped doing it before workouts, like so I'm gonna preface this by saying everyone's different. If you like stretching before you work out, stretch before you work out. For some people, how do I phrase this? Stretching is not what is getting you ready to work out. It's the act of stretching. And what I mean by that is the routine of stretching is what's getting you ready to exercise, like mentally preparing you. Like if you get into a couch stretch every day, and when you get into the couch stretch, you're telling your body it's time to work out, and that works for you, awesome. Nothing wrong with that. But the reason everyone has different stretches they like. I don't need to stretch certain parts of my body, but there's other parts of my body I kind of do need to. But I agree that moving patiently and moving well as like kind of easing into movement is great. My favorite stretch is a slow air squat. I feel like you can see what's tight and what's not tight. And I do think that static stretching after a workout can be like relaxing almost. But guys, if you like stretching, I don't telling people if you like stretching, keep stretching, but don't feel obligated to stretching if you don't like it. Like I stopped, I haven't completely stopped stretching, but I do a lot less stretching and a lot more just movement throughout the day. And it seems to help a lot.
And it depends what your goals are too. Like if you want to get more flexible, you have to stretch. But if you want that for a specific reason or a specific goal you have, but yeah.
I think it's also important to note that you don't want to get, and this is my opinion, I don't know if Megan agrees with this, and mine is definitely not medical. You don't want to get super mobile at like the end range of motion without developing what I call stability, which is the ability to hold the end range of motion. So the best way to test this is like if you lift your leg, see how high you can hold it, and then get someone to push your leg up. And there's probably a big difference between how high someone can push your leg up versus how high you can hold it up. And that would be the difference between your mobility and your stability. In my opinion, those are my terms. I don't know where, I probably stole them from somewhere, I don't remember, but I think there's a difference between that. I don't know how you feel about that, Megan.
When you say lift your leg up, do you mean
just stand and lift it up?
Oh, yeah, that's the difference, like active versus passive range of motion.
Yeah. But I feel like injury happens when there's a giant discrepancy between active and passive range of motion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, interesting. Never thought about it that way.
So say you squat down, you can control your squat like so far down, and then like you can stop and it feels good, but then you do a clean and you get way lower and you're never in that, you have no like control down there. That can be kind of
so building strength in the entire range of motion.
Yeah, it's really important. For me, it's really important. Like you should be building strength at your end ranges of motion. You need a reserve of strength there, because I think it goes back to the whole spine, like because sometimes you'll be in those end ranges of motion, you want to be sturdy there, kind of like why I like this flexion extension. Okay, so what else? I think we have covered a lot of things. Covered injury. So do you have any questions for me?
What are you doing on a regular basis to like expand your knowledge?
I watch a lot of YouTube video. So like one thing I'll do, so when I started coaching, one thing I did is I watched a lot of like people lifting and people moving. And it's my advice to anyone getting into coaching or wanting to get better would be to do that. So like I'll watch, like you can go to Hook Grip. I'll watch Hook Grip videos of just people lifting in slow motion. I'll watch old weightlifting competitions. You can find them on YouTube. And that horn is, there we go. And I'll watch old CrossFit competitions and see how people are moving and kind of like look at that. One thing I always give as advice is trying to avoid and this goes for athletes too, try and avoid the websites that tell you like, I don't want to like name anything on the podcast to get in trouble, but trying to avoid the things that give you like specific muscle names and tell you that things aren't like, if someone's like, oh, fix this because your glutes aren't firing. Well, no, you're standing up, your glutes are firing. So trying to avoid anything that overcomplicates movement and just learn to watch movement. And so one thing I do is I still watch movement. The other thing I do is I watch YouTube videos. I have like a few sources, Catalyst Athletics, Power Monkey, and then stuff by Chris Henshaw, like that's like Catalyst would be weightlifting, Power Monkey would be gymnastics, and the Henshaw stuff is running, kind of are the things I look at in terms of that. It's hard now because the thing I used to do was coach, and then I would usually journal about coaching, but I don't do it with Zoom because it's not really the same. And so I haven't done that a ton. I just try and keep coaching. I try and like just consistently ask myself after after I coach something, like how could I have done that better? And then one thing I'd like to do more is probably like go to other gyms and see and try and find other people to coach with, because I don't really have that now that we're kind of independent.
Yeah.
I don't have that. Does that answer your question? So I guess watch people move and avoid things that avoid trying to digest too much knowledge, because it goes to what you said earlier about not knowing what to say.
Yeah.
Like at one point I had like a app on my phone, and it was like I'd spend 20 minutes every day trying to memorize every single muscle. And then I realized that was actually making me worse at coaching, because I would start using the muscle names when I was trying to cue someone, and they had no idea what I was talking about. And so now, thankfully, I've forgotten the name of almost every single muscle. I know a couple because they're like easy to explain, or people expect that. But that's my other thing is just keep your language chill.
Yeah, I find that hard with the knowledge that I have, but yeah, good answer.
Thanks. Well, what are you doing to improve your coaching right now? Anything?
With the coach's notes, I make sure to I'm going through and watching all the videos and at least skimming the articles, because a lot of the time there are good pieces of information that I don't know.
That's what I do. I guess I should rephrase. The easiest answer I could have given is, what do you do to keep? I keep trying to put new content in the coach's notes.
Yeah.
Because for every video I put, and you guys see these too, if you click notes, you can see all the stuff the coaches see, minus a couple of there's stuff that's very specific to coaching, or there's also you guys don't get the time breakdown, because if I don't want someone to be we're supposed to be done the warm-up by now, it says, and then if I decide not to. So I don't give you guys everything, but you get all of the articles. And for every article I post, video I post, I've usually watched 3 and picked the best one. And doing that is the best, because I'm why do I not like these 2 and like this one more? And by telling myself that, or going through the exercise, it's the best way to critically think about it. So I guess maybe I should start
you're doing the work for me.
I should start making you guys do that a bit more. Give you guys 3 things and pick one, and then justify it. But then it becomes school. It's a job. It's a part-time job. I'm not trying to make it school, but that'd be my advice if you want to get better coaching.
To get better.
Yeah, it's just okay, I want to learn about I don't know, the snatch. Go watch 6 videos on the snatch and pick the one you think is best, and then explain yourself in your coaching journal. So do you have any last words? How can people? So you have an Instagram page where people can see some stuff you've posted, and I usually repost it, but they can check that out. What is that?
Yes, so I've taken a little pause from that. I haven't posted in a while, but I want to get on it again. But it's at The Movement Chiro, but movement is MVMT. So it's also linked in my personal Instagram if you follow me.
Awesome, and I'll put that in the notes for the show, so I can do that, I think. And then, so can people book with you right now?
Yeah, so I can put my email in there as well. But I'm downtown at Sherbourne Clinic, Tuesday, Thursday.
And sometimes Fridays.